Welcome guys. So in this video we will discuss about how to copy the object or how we can create the copy of an object. So let's say we have a point class and have one p1, the object of point class. If I will write like that, will it work? Okay, let's see. We will debug this thing also. Just try to print p1. What will the output? So output will be main point. So p1 is also a class, so it is considered as a class. So this is alias name of this class. If you want to create the alias name of the class, then you can create it like that. So if you want to create the object, you have to pass the constructor here. Then you can see the output is instance at, this is the address. So we created a blank object and it resides in the memory, and let's see what is the mapping on memory. So let's say you create a p1 object which is having a blank memory, and first address of this memory is this D00. I will write only 3 digits last, D00. So this is the address of p1. Now I want to copy p1 into p2. So how I can create? Let's say this is a p2. This is a different object, p2 equals p1. Can I do this? So let's try to print p2. You can see here both are pointing to same memory. This is the address cb0 and cb0. So what happens actually, you can see here mapping is, if we will do this operation p2 equals p1, means we are assigning the value of p1 into p2. So p1 is pointing this memory. Now p2 is also pointing the same memory. How we can copy this thing? So let's see how two attributes like p1.x equals 9.0 and p1.y equals like something 11.0. Now I will print x and y both attribute. So print p1 dot x comma p1 dot y. So the output will be 9.0 and 11.0. So how it resides in memory now? So is this memory the same variable like x, which is having 9.0 value, and y, which is having 11.0 value. So how can print it? So it's very easy, because you did here p2 equals p1. So if I will print it, so just value is 9.0, 11.0. If I want to print using p2, the same attribute, the output will be same. Let's see how. So this is instead of p1, this is p2. And now you just try to print it. So the output is 9.0, 11.0. Why? Because it is not a copy of this. It points to the same memory space. Suppose this is the D00, this is the address. So both objects, both instance points to the same memory. So that's why we can't copy like that. So you got the problem? We can't do like that. Okay. So like import, you need to import copy. Now before moving to copy, one thing also we can see, if you want to know it is pointing to the same memory. So how we can print it? It's very easy. Let's see. If we will print this way, like print p1 equals, it will compare the both addresses, which is p1 and p2, and it will return true or false. If it is pointing the same address, then it will return true. So you can see here it will return true. In previous videos I discussed about is operator. So what is operator will do, it will check the object. So p1 is p2, so both objects are same, then it will return true. So for comparing the objects, we can use is operator. Now how we can copy the p1 and p2? How we can create the two copies? Like this is the only one copy and we are pointing to the same, and I want to make the copy of this object. So it's very simple. Let's see. We need to import first copy. Then what we have to do is p2 equals copy dot copy, and here you need to pass the P1. Now we will not do this P2, we will make it P3 so that the confusion will not be there. So now it get copied, the print P1 and print P3. Now see the magic. You can see the output is different. You can see P1 is pointing to the different memory space and this points to the different. So what happens exactly in RAM actually? So this is a P1 and it will create the copy of P1 in P3, and this is also pointing to the different address in this way. So now we can create a different copy of object. So you can use this one also. Is the operator and equals. Using this also you can find out it's P2, not P2, it's P3. So now it will return false because both are points to different address. Now let's access x and y variable. So print p3.x comma p3.y. What will be the output? The output is 9.0, 11.0. So what happens exactly? It creates the copy of P1 object into same, like x equals 9.0 and y equals 11.0. Now if you change this variable like p3.x equals some 5.0 and p3.y equals 5.0, and just try to print both. So we will print P1 and P3. So you can see the output is P3 is 5.5 and this is 9.11. So what happens is in this copy I changed instead of 9.05 and this instead of 11 I changed 5. So in this way we can copy the object. But things happens when we are talking about object inside object. In last video I told you how we can create the object inside object with example of circle. So in circle we created an object of point. So in same way we will create two object. So last video you can see here one is circle. Same thing I will copy from here. So this is a CR1, okay. And now if I will represent using memory concept here, what I did exactly, so I have one CR1, circle 1 is the object and which is having two properties. One is radius equals something like 9.0 and one is point, and which points to x is 9.0 and y is 11.0. So which points to the next object in this way. So we will create in memory. So you can see here point. So point is x is 3.0 or 4.0. So values doesn't matter, okay. If I want to copy the circle 1 into circle 2, so let's see the output. So if I will do circle 2 is the variable and I want to copy into it. So in this way we can't, as I told you what is the problem. We are not making the copy, it will exactly point to the same address. So what we can do, so simply copy dot copy. So you need to use this method and CR1. Now it got created, okay. So what it will create, it will create a copy of CR2 here. Suppose this is CR2 which is having two attributes. One is radius which is having something 9.0 and another one is point. But the fact is using copy this will be remain same. So we can see the output, or we can see using programming also. So if I want to print this is CR2, circle second point, and circle 2 points, and circle 2 radius. So we will run it. Let's see the output. So circle, okay, actually circle CR1 we will print here, like CR1, and this is also CR1, but this is the point of CR2, and this is CR2. Okay, so you can see the output is radius of CR1, like CR1 points is 3.0, 4.0, same for circle 2. Now what it's happen exactly, it makes the copy of CR1 into CR2. But what happens if I will change the attributes of CR2? So I change like CR2 dot radius, oh it's dot, and the radius I will make it around 8.9. now, and I want to change the x and y points also. So CR2 dot point dot x equals 6.8, and CR2 dot point dot y equals 7.8. okay, and same thing now I want to print. So you can see the output will be, so output is CR2 point is 6.8, 7.8, but radius of CR2 is 8.9. If I want to print again CR1's attribute, you can see the output. So the output is, you can see here, okay, I will make it comment because of confusion. Okay, so you can see here the circle 1 radius is 5.8 and circle 2 point is 6.8 and 7.8, but before it was 3.0 and 4.0. so why it got changed? Because both object will share the same object in this way. So whenever I will using C2, so I change, instead of 9.0 I change around 8.0, and instead of 11 I write 10.0. so either I can use using CR2 and CR1. so it's called shared variable. Okay, so how we can avoid this thing? It's very easy. For that you have to use different function or method of copy. So what you have to do is CR2 equals copy dot deep copy. So here this concept will come. So what deep copy will do, it will create a different object of object. What this line will do, it will create a different copy. So instead of this, it will point to the another address like 8.0 and y equals 10.0. now both are different, so this is different and this is different. So use deep copy, don't use copy. So this is the difference between deep copy and copy. So in next video we will discuss about variables and constructor and how we initialize the constructor using init method, and what are the types of variables like class variables and the instance variables. Thanks for watching.